progress, Caitlin.
Yeah.
But at least we're halfway through the week.
Yeah, we need the rain. Okay, so it's cloudy. It's a little bit cool. Temperatures today maybe reaching about 60. Scattered showers, especially the first half of the day. It's still coming down. I can see outside of our studio here. By 3 or 4 this afternoon, though, the rain will start to break apart, and I actually think this evening is going to be quite quiet.
I couldn't believe what Mike said earlier on Good Day, and that this past May will go down as the 10th driest on record.
Is that surprising to you?
Yeah, because I mean things still seem fairly green.
I feel that's true.
Right?
Yeah, but I feel like we
driest.
haven't had very much rain.
No, you're right.
And we're heading into June. It's going to get really hot and sunny, especially early next week. The 80s are going to be here. So this rain, we need this rain. Okay?
Yeah.
But you're right. I've noticed like the grass looks good.
Yeah.
I haven't had to water the flowers too much. But it is kind of just it's a dreary day, but it's Wednesday, so who cares?
It's a Wednesday, okay? We're in the
cares?
middle of the week.
We'll take it.
All right, we got a bunch to get to over the next hour here.
Yeah.
A couple trenders here. Another mishap involving SpaceX. We have a different form of currency, not only the US dollar, a different form of currency that is possibly about to be circulated in the state of Florida. And also a couple that has been in prison for the last year or two. They were just pardoned by the president. So we're going to run through those. We got a really special guest coming up later.
Yeah, a comedian you said, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who's got a cause near and dear to his heart. He's going to be here in studio to tell us about that. He's a local guy. He's gone viral on TikTok as well. And then also, Caitlin.
Yes.
You've had Garrett's popcorn before, right?
Of course.
Okay, they've gotten kind of an honor.
Okay.
That we're going to talk about a little bit later in the hour. But I first want to run through this stuff about SpaceX. Did you hear us talking about this on Good Day earlier?
No, I didn't.
Okay, here we go.
Let's get into it.
Here is the launch itself. Now,
when was this?
This would be the third. This was, I believe, yesterday. Out of South Texas. Now, everything looks like it's going great, but this was a partial success and a partial failure here. This rocket partially achieved its goal of traveling halfway around the world before it splashed down in the Indian Ocean.
This looks fake, doesn't it?
All of these look fake.
It's so wild. This looks just like a cartoon or something.
So
wow, okay, so this is SpaceX. So, all right, we'll get into the details now. After 2 earlier failures this year, SpaceX made progress yesterday with the Starship test. So this was yesterday. It was a flight that flew farther than any before, though it failed to deploy mock satellites due to a stuck door. A stuck door! Of all things? Come on. The 403-foot Starship rocket lifted off the Starbase in South Texas. It was the first time a reused booster was used in a Starship flight. The rocket partially achieved its goal of traveling halfway around the world before splashing down in the Indian Ocean. A satellite deployment test failed when the door for the mock Starlink satellites didn't open. SpaceX tested upgraded heat-resistant tiles and a new recovery catch system. So I have heard about this. So I guess the issue is with these new tiles, the heat-resistant tiles. So from what I understand, and because they said that this is the first time that it's been reused, this is the piece that burns off as the rocket is going up.
And it's like designed to burn it.
Yeah, and it gets destroyed to the point where they have to replace it every time. So I think this was trying to make it reusable, which that was the biggest hurdle I think that they were trying to jump. Mm-hmm. So now that that's done, the door jam, I mean, I feel like that's not that big of a problem.
I'm just glad it was unmanned. I think there were just robots on there. And this is one of those enterprises where I've noticed that there's a lot of failing forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, make one step forward, maybe a little bit back.
Exactly. And so they're ironing out the kinks here. But yeah, they're over 2 earlier failures this year, though. So they...
Try again.
Try again. So
I wonder how much money it costs every time.
Oh my gosh, that is wild to think about. But you know, Elon Musk, richest man in the world.
Yeah, right.
At last check.
I don't think he's really worried about it.
So budget, I don't know if it's an object. I think money is no object in this. So, and it's been interesting to see the government support more and more private endeavors when it comes to space exploration.
Why not? You know, AI these days is going bonkers. We might as well try to have some serious space rockets as well.
All right, so a lot of these, that was in South Texas, but a lot of these rockets take off from Cape Canaveral, which is in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida, Caitlin, this is wild.
Okay.
Inching toward allowing gold and silver to actually be used as currency.
How do you feel about that?
I can't wrap my brain around that. How would that even work?
Like carry it around in your pocket?
Or a leather pouch?
Yeah, a satchel, if you will.
A satchel full of gold and silver coins.
Okay, let's get into this.
Yeah.
I told you I want to get rid of coins, you guys. Now we're talking
That's
about
right.
bringing
Yeah,
it back in a fancier form.
Oh, and then this follows on the heels of our Insta poll this morning, which found that very few people are carrying any cash anymore.
Right.
So this is actually very topical. Anyway, I'll let you run
All
us
right,
through
let's
the
get into
details.
it. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill that starts the process of recognizing gold and silver as legal tender in Florida, which I kind of think it already is, right?
Legal tender?
It's due, I mean, maybe not legal tender, but you can use it to buy.
You can, I think, obviously
You can sell it.
it holds
You
its
can sell
value.
it. Sure.
Yes, for sure,
Okay.
yeah.
So this would let people optionally use gold and silver to make purchases or even pay taxes, similar to how you use dollars, but businesses are not required to accept them unless they're licensed for it. Yeah, because that would be a pain. And then banks, what are they going to do? Start keeping gold in the
And a scale?
or in the, what are those things called? The safe in the back?
Yes.
Like the good old days? All right, DeSantis argues that gold and silver are more stable than the US dollar, especially as inflation increases and the government continues to spend beyond its means. So the state's chief financial officer and the Financial Services Commission now have to write detailed rules for how this will work. A report is due to the state legislature by November 1st, and the lawmakers must approve the final rules for everything to take place in effect by mid-2026.
I think this is wild. All right, so would you?
Do you own any gold or silver?
No.
I mean, I guess my wedding ring
yeah,
has some
okay.
silver on it.
Other than the jewelry, but I mean, I get the notion of it holds its value. The dollar is,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, like with inflation and everything. So I can see having that. I do know that gold has historically been a good investment. I mean, just in terms of holding its value. Now, as for ever carrying gold or silver, I don't. In your wallet, can you
It's
ever
not going to
picture doing
happen.
that?
There's no way.
How would they? Maybe for a big purchase or something where you are actually saving a lot of money by paying
With your gold?
with your gold as
Your gold
opposed
bars
to
in the basement?
inflation-prone dollars.
I mean,
I don't think I
it's
can
kind
wrap
of
my
the
mind
same
around
idea.
this one.
You could just sell it and then use the money to buy whatever you want to buy if you wanted to. But I think the point of buying the gold and the silver is kind of to keep it, right? Keep it in case something happened.
Long term, as a backup.
Maybe Ron DeSantis has a lot of gold and silver that he wants to use instead of money.
Hey, I like when they beta test things in Florida and California, and then we get we get the stuff that works.
Sure.
And we don't have to deal with the stuff that doesn't.
So, we had a couple questions. Would you carry it in your wallet?
I can't picture myself carrying it in my wallet, no.
And then,
Or
do you
on my
think other
person.
people would actually do that as well?
Listen, I have completely missed the whole crypto thing. Call me old school, but I've never gone down that road. Especially, gosh,
This must be for the big money makers.
big spenders.
You know,
You've heard about this crypto bro thing this week, right?
No.
With the torture.
Excuse me?
Torture.
What? Why? What torture? What are we talking about? What happened?
Caitlin, oh
Give me
my
the
gosh.
details. What happened?
They made another arrest in New York today with these two crypto guys who held, I believe, a Spanish national in a townhouse in New York City for weeks trying to get his some kind of crypto password from him. And he was apparently, literally locked up and tortured for. And so they're still hatching out. Dude, this is a real story. It sounds like a movie, right?
Whoa.
Anyway,
So all you need
crypto
is
and
a password.
gold and silver. I still can't. I can't. I'm not a financial guy. That's why I'm a journalist.
No, I know. I'm with you. I just learned how Apple
Pay. I
works.
still don't know how to use Apple
You
Pay.
just double click the big button on the
And
side
then
of
what
your
do?
phone.
You
hold it up to the thing.
The thing, like
Yeah.
like you would a chip for
Exactly right.
for a credit card.
It's very handy, actually. They take it at drive-thrus too. We're
right.
parents. We don't keep up
And
with
then,
this stuff,
so
you
that
guys.
so it's linked to your credit card?
Yeah, you put your debit card in there. And
think
then it
I've
actually
done
pulls
that,
up a
actually.
picture of your card, and
Yeah,
then you
okay.
can...
Sometimes when I accidentally hit the button twice, I do get like a little Apple, what's
Yeah.
going on, what's going on? Go back, go back.
Stop it, phone.
Okay, so another thing that's trending online today is President Trump made a controversial pardon. Okay, and I had never seen, these are reality TV stars that he just pardoned. Their names are Todd and Julie Chrisley. Have you ever heard of the show Chrisley Knows Best?
Can we pull up their picture, you guys? I gotta see these people. I wonder if I would recognize Todd and Julie Chrisley.
The only thing I've recognized them from is the news coverage of their actual convictions, which was for money laundering, I believe, and tax evasion.
Okay, so let's see.
Bank fraud and tax evasion. They were convicted back in 2022. The couple, the patriarch and matriarch of this family, they've been in prison since that time. And just yesterday, President Donald Trump, there they are. There are the Chrisleys.
Oh, I'm Googling. Okay,
So my understanding is that their reality show
Okay.
had to do with the dad's real estate enterprise and kind of the behind-the-scenes drama
of their life and
the
kids.
trials and tribulations. I think they've got a fairly big family, a couple of
it
younger
looks like
children.
They've got 3 kids: Savannah, Chase, and Grayson.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're pardoned. Why?
Yeah. So I was just watching footage of their daughter Savannah making a speech at one of the Republican conventions. I'm not sure if it was CPAC or the Republican National Convention. But there we go. Oh, this
goodness.
is her, Savannah.
Okay, y'all, I tried to do an Instagram live earlier,
Looks like her dad.
and I was driving, trying to get home to get my life together, and we are freaking out over
Wow.
here. Well, I have shed so many tears. The president called me personally as I was walking into Sam's Club and notified me that he was signing pardon paperwork for both of my parents. So both my parents are coming home tonight or tomorrow, and I still don't believe it's real. I'm freaking out.
She's on her way to Sam's
Sheer
Club.
joy, sheer joy. That is Savannah Chrisley, who spoke at the Republican National Convention, and she basically made the case that her parents were targeted by the same, according to her, corrupt prosecutors that were appointed by Democrats, and the same kinds of weaponization of the legal system that led to Donald Trump's trial a couple of years back. And so I think there was kinship, that's my guess, between what Donald Trump went through and the Todd and Julie Chrisley. And so it's unbelievable how quick of a turnaround. So she expects her parents to be, they were originally sentenced, I believe, to 7 and 9 years.
How long have they been? 2022?
I
3
think
years?
for about 1.5 years or 2 years.
So Trump said in a video shared online that your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope that we can do it by tomorrow.
Okay, so
lucky
there you
her.
go.
Can you imagine? She's counting her lucky stars. I mean, like, what if she didn't feel well and so she didn't go and make this speech? But this changed her family's life. That's
this
wild.
is a theme for Donald Trump as well, because you'll recall that similar thing for our former governor Rod Blagojevich here in Illinois, made the case that he was the victim of corrupt prosecutors, and that is for sure a message or a case that gets through to the president.
Yeah.
I think he has a place in his heart, well, it fully seems that way, for folks who he believes are victims of a weaponization of the legal system.
Goodness
so,
gracious.
congrats to Todd and Julie Chrisley. You did some time, but not your whole sentence, and hopefully you guys behave yourselves when you're on the outside. All right, coming up after this, we
I
are
bet
going
a new
to.
show's gonna happen now.
I know they're going to get
Yeah.
Life After Prison with
Yeah.
Todd and Julie Chrisley.
At least a book.
Okay, so we got some good news for Garrett's Popcorn, and we are going to speak to somebody from Yelp
Whoa.
about a very distinct honor that they're right across the street
The
here.
one and only
Garrett's
Popcorn.
When we
Fun.
come back, we'll talk about it.
10:21. Thanks for watching Chicago Now. We're so happy that you're here with us. We're going to talk about Garrett's Popcorn and this big honor that they were given. So as summer travel season gets ready to kick off this weekend, Yelp has released its first ever Most Loved Airport Brands report, ranking the top 25 airport brands across the U.S. Among these, making the list, is Chicago-born Garrett Popcorn Shops. That's kind of surprising to me. It landed at number 15 as a favorite for travelers passing through O'Hare International Airport. And the rankings are based on a mix of Yelp page reviews, searches, photos, reviews, and star ratings. So I guess if you wanted to get a very Chicago thing, Garrett's Popcorn, I guess that would make sense. It would
if
connect
you ever
the
fly
dots.
out of Midway, they have Nuts on Clark, which is
Cute.
the little kiosk there at Midway. But yeah, Garrett's, I guess, they're taking the world by storm.
They should, as they should.
Yeah.
We were talking about their good mix of the cheese and the caramel corn.
Yeah, the famous mix, right?
Fantastic. So we are joined by Yelp's Senior Director of Campaign Strategy for National Brands, Kadecia Ber. Kadecia, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
So talking about the popcorn, how did this happen? How did you guys gather all the information? And does Chicago have another restaurant, another brand that's on the list?
There are a couple Chicago restaurants on the list. Not only did Garrett's make our list, but Potbelly Sandwiches is also on the list at number 4. And I'm a huge Potbelly's fan, so happy to see that one. And Wow Bao is also on the list at number 24. We have a couple native Chicago brands that made that list. Yes.
I didn't even realize Wow Bao was a Chicago.
I didn't know Potbelly was.
Potbelly for sure.
For sure, huh?
Yeah,
First thing I heard, I was in
the,
North Carolina. Who knew?
Yeah, that's right.
Zone.
The Wreck sandwich. You're a Potbelly's fan?
What's the Wreck sandwich?
The Wreck's got what isn't in a Wreck?
Okay.
It's got like roast beef. It's got ham. I think there's 3 different kinds of,
all the
and then
toppings.
turkey. Yeah.
And turkey.
My friend calls it.
She knows.
I know the name.
Yeah, Potbelly. Hey, what came in at number 1?
Vino Volo.
Vino Volo.
So, yes, it's a wine bar in the airport. This is like a premium experience. So I'm in Cleveland. We actually have a Vino Volo in Cleveland. But essentially you can sit down, get a glass of wine, have some snacks, some small plates. That was number 1.
Okay, so booze. I'm not surprised.
Not surprised there. Nothing like the airport
You need
cocktail
a
or
booze
drink
before you
or
go.
beer.
The
for
nerves
sure.
are getting you. So these experiences at airports, why are people flocking to have an experience at the airport? Is it because vacation's kicking off and you want to have a good time start to finish?
I think so. I think the airport is now part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not just about getting through the airport. I know, like, making a sandwich and eating it on the plane. Like, what we're actually seeing and what our consumers are telling us at Yelp is the airport is part of the journey. So people are looking for treats. They're looking for a premium experience. They're wanting to spend time on these member-only lounges. And really, seek out those things that bring comfort and that make travel easier.
What did folks have to say about our very own Garrett's Popcorn?
People love Garrett's. And so I wasn't surprised to see this one. I know, Caitlin, you said you were surprised. I was not. I'm a 10-year Chicago native. I've been gone many years now. But every time I go through O'Hare and I have to rush through Terminal 3, I find the time to get Garrett's. And I got to get a small bag for myself. And I got to get a big bag to bring home where the kids would yell at me if they knew I went through O'Hare without getting popcorn. And so my experience is actually what we're seeing with consumers all over the nation. Folks like Garrett's because it is speedy, right? So you can get in there really quickly. Even if I'm in a rush, I will wait in that line because I know it's going to move quick. So you can grab that bag of popcorn. It's a great giftable treat. You can take it home. And essentially, it's just really high quality. And I think that's one of the things we found by doing this airport brands report is people want something of quality. If they're going to spend their money, they don't just want to grab a bag of chips, right? Where you get this great Garrett Chicago popcorn. And so that's what we're seeing. And that's what consumers were letting us know when they come on Yelp and write these reviews and vote with their feet with where they want to go.
It is very Chicago, I have to say. If you want to get like a treat that says Chicago for somebody,
sure.
definitely the Garrett's popcorn. And I wonder too if part of it that plays into people getting it is the smells. We were talking about, we were trying to guess, and Anthony said maybe Auntie Anne's.
Yeah,
Because
did
you walk
Auntie
by-
Anne's or Cinnabon? One of the two. Did those make the list? Because when Caitlin
smells.
talks about smells,
You walk through.
you walk by, and that'll get you sometimes. I could see that happening with Garrett's.
Yeah.
They weren't, I don't have the full list pulled up. I don't think they made the list.
Okay.
So Garrett's is doing something special by wafting that, cheese and caramel corn smell through the airport. And so, yeah, I mean, even though it is a Chicago treat, I think what we're seeing is it's really, the secret's out. It's not just a Chicago thing. Nationwide, people are seeking this out in the airport.
We understand also that you mentioned these airport lounges and the desire for folks to have the airport itself be part of the traveling experience. It's not just, oh, it's a hassle to be here. We got to get through security and get on our flight to get to our vacation. A lot of people want to start that vacation right away. Can you comment on how the rise of these lounges are changing the entire restaurant experience?
Yes, it's interesting. We saw on Yelp in 2024, searches for airport loungers were up 18%. So folks are willing to pay the price for these member-only lounges. And really what they're telling us is they're craving the calm, they're craving the comfort, they're craving the space. When you talk about food, looking at the Centurion Lounge or Delta Sky Club, they have chef-driven menus. Right? People are really seeking out this premium food and a gourmet experience, which these lounges are offering. Of course, drinks, like you said, Caitlin, everyone loves to have that drink at the airport. And we're finding, tech-enabled features with the lounges, amenities like private workspaces. And so there's a lot of these amenities I think people are willing to pay that premium dollar for and go a little bit early. So they can enjoy sitting in that lounge and, again, starting that journey before the plane even takes off.
I love that idea. And I love that you guys are doing a list. I think that traveling has become so important to people lately over the past couple of years and experiencing different airports and different snacks and foods.
Do you have an airport that is, we can go around the table, do you have an airport that is near and dear to your heart? I know Caitlin hasn't done much traveling since she has kids.
Yeah, what's your favorite airport?
I recently was in Phoenix, so Phoenix Sky Harbor. They have a Centurion Lounge. It's just such a nice experience, and so I tend to fly out of that airport pretty often. I'm in Cleveland, and Cleveland is near and dear to my heart. And Cleveland does have a Potbelly's, which I always go to.
Yeah.
But Phoenix Sky Harbor is the full big airport experience, so that's one of my favorites.
O'Hare has a Frontera, the Rick Bayless place. Have you gotten that when you've come through O'Hare at all? They do a good torta.
I have.
Yeah.
I love that. I can't turn down a torta. So you got me there, Anthony, with the torta. For sure.
Really good. Any other highlights you want to mention from Yelp's list of other? So we got Garrett's, we got Potbelly's, we got Wow Bao. Anything else spring to mind that you want to let people know about?
Even just some of our standard fare that people love, like Chick-fil-A was second on the list, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Shake Shack. I think places where you're going to get quality, you're going to get a good meal, and you're going to get those treats. And so, yeah, there's a lot of brands that are doing the right thing and offering the right kind of service, and consumers tend to love that and are voting by going in and spending those dollars the minute they get through TSA, I guess.
All right.
Chick-fil-A and Starbucks. Count me in.
You can count on them. For
you know what you
consistency,
want.
you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
All right, Kadecia Ber with Yelp. Thank you so much for joining us here on Chicago Now. Makes me want to get up and travel like ASAP.
Makes me want to eat some popcorn.
Yeah, eat some popcorn. Thank
Good
you
job,
so
Garrett.
much. Safe
Thank you
travels
for
this
having
summer.
me.
Come back to Chicago soon. Caitlin, before we go to break, I do want to mention.
What?
I always bring this up among the Good Day crews, like what is your favorite beer? Not kind of beer, but occasion for a beer. And I've got two at the top of my list, and that is the post-yard work beer
Oh.
and the airport beer. I love the airport beer.
Yeah.
Because I agree with her that it is, once you get out of that Uber, out of the traffic, and you're in, your bags you're through security, I like having a little extra time.
What time does it have to be during the day? Can
It's
you
got to
get like a
be
10
no
a.m. here?
any time. Absolutely. No, time doesn't exist.
Wait,
once you get to the airport, doesn't need to be 5 p.m. It could be 10 a.m.
What if it
and
was
that beer
8
hook.
a.m. and you would get a beer?
If I was an hour early for my flight, yes, I could see
8 a.m.?
I could see myself
Anthony.
doing it. Yes, to make an occasion out of it.
Listen.
It may be something different. Maybe a mimosa at that hour if I'm with
But you
Maggie.
would do a beverage.
Yes, I would do a beverage just to. It's a mental separation from like civilian life to vacation.
I am with you,
You know what I mean?
100%. I would
you.
be embarrassed, but I would do it too.
There's no shame, because the thing is, don't be embarrassed, because those bars are open, not just for you, for everybody. There's a time does not apply.
There's
at the
no
airport.
windows. No, there are.
That's a rule. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a casino.
I
You're absolutely right.
know.
There's no window.
I
there's
would
no time.
I would want a beverage just to calm the nerves. I
Yeah.
think traveling is it's a
little
hectic
anxious.
experience.
Well, with kids, it is too.
For sure.
All right, we have a very special guest coming up. A comedian who's not only really talented, but his heart is in the right place. Coming up after the break, we are going to meet Anthony Corrado, better known to his TikTok fans as Tony, spelled Toeknee. He will join us when we come back.
Chemotherapy, round 5. I'm tired. I gotta poop. No. What is up, you guys? It's chemotherapy. What is up, you guys? It's chemotherapy round 5. I'm tired, I'm hungry, but I'm here. Let's get it. Cue that intro music.
Wow. This is
Yeah.
inspiring to
Yeah.
see.
Today we're spotlighting Anthony Corrado, better known as Tony, Toeknee, which Anthony said before the break. So you might see him on TikTok, all of you TikTokers out there. So this is a Chicago-based comedian who first caught attention during the pandemic with his clever sketches, which I can see why. You're hilarious. I'm gonna get chemo and I've gotta go poop. Like, very relatable.
Everybody poops.
Yeah, so your journey, it took a serious turn in May of 2023 when you were diagnosed with lymphoma.
Yes.
But instead of stepping back, you leaned into your platform and you used humor and honesty to share your experience. So what made you go that route?
Well, I mean, I was doing content creation like full time, and I didn't want to just stop making people laugh because something sad happened.
Yeah.
And I also just saw it as a great opportunity to make a joke out of it, like I kind of do with anything that is maybe a little bit traumatic in my life, because I feel like that's the best way to deal with it, is just to find something to smile at.
Tell me about your content pre-diagnosis.
Really silly and stupid, in my opinion. Just goofy stuff that I don't know. That I grew up just doing characters and bits and stuff like that, and then it did not work for a really long time.
Yeah.
The pandemic hit, and then we just started getting consistent with it, and TikTok was like the first platform where it was actually working. I was like, okay, maybe
Let's go TikTok.
let's go TikTok.
So how did the diagnosis first come into your life?
I thought I had a hernia
Okay.
at work. I used to work for the CineSpace, the studios where they film.
Sure.
I was a rigging electrician, which I had no business doing, by the way.
Sure you did.
But I stepped off of a liftgate one day. I thought I had a hernia. For a long time, I was just limping around, and eventually I was like, okay, I got to go get surgery for this because it's really starting to bug me. It's the only way to get rid of it. And then we found out that it was not a hernia. They had sent that cyst on my lymph node to pathology, and we found out that was surgery was on a Friday. We found out on Monday that it was lymphoma, and that's when it all began.
Oh my gosh, what was
It's heavy.
Tell me about that period between that diagnosis and when you decided, hey, I'm going to actually put this out there into the world.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, cancer and even specifically lymphoma was no stranger to me at the time. My dad had a different form of lymphoma when he was younger. I had a grandmother who had breast cancer, and an aunt who had cancer too. So I knew that this was this was in a way sort of normal to me, unfortunately, and I talked to my father, and he pushed through it, and since then they've made so many advancements in the medical field regarding treatment. I knew it was going to be a little bit easier of a time for me than it was for him, 20 years ago. So I knew that going into it, like if I can just get ahead of it and stay positive, then I think I'm going to be just fine.
Did you find support? I know this is super scary for someone to get a cancer diagnosis. Did you go to social media yourself to find support from other creators who also have cancer and maybe make content?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I have such an amazing, I'm blessed to have such an amazing group of people in my life. My fiance, my friends, my family is massive, big Italian family. So I already had a really incredible support group around me. And then when I started posting online, I was shocked to see how many people, even in my own audience, were being affected by this either personally or they knew someone. So in turn, another really massive support system formed around that.
That's awesome.
What did you do in terms of decision making when it came to what to share with your audience, what to keep private? Because I can't imagine being diagnosed, but I'm guessing going through what you did, you had some tough days.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't want to hide anything. I kind of wanted to show everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Is it less scary to kind of put it out there?
Yeah. I just didn't see any reason to hold back, and I don't know. I just think that the more I shared, the more I could help other people, and I didn't want to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like this. I learned to take everything one day at a time, and so if I felt good enough to go on a walk, or if I felt good enough to go down by the water or whatever, that's what I did, and I think that mentality kind of helped me get through it. It was just one day at a time.
One step
I
at
have
a time.
one of my best friends from college is a radiation oncologist, and he said that his patients with a positive mental attitude, like that attitude that you just referred to, is a difference maker when it comes to getting through this stuff.
I'm sure.
I think so too. It's not easy, and I understand that, saying that is much easier than actually doing it. but it is. I really believe that it is so important, and it will carry you through whatever process you got to go through to get it out of your body.
So speaking of positivity, you're receiving the Advocate Award this week. So what does that recognition mean to you?
I'll be honest. I don't really. It's very like hard for me to accept any sort of award just because I got sick and I was being myself, and I don't know. It's an honor. The Lymphoma Research Foundation is an incredible organization that I got hooked up with in the very beginning of all of this. They're wonderful people, and so it's very flattering. But at the same time, I'm like, you want to give me an award?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. I'm not just trying to be like, oh, he's so humble, but it really is. I'm like, it's like, okay, yeah.
Obviously,
like,
you're making
No,
a
but
huge
it
difference.
makes you're too close to the. It makes perfect sense to folks in our field, because unlike folks who handle it internally, handle it privately, this is. I mean, I think it's a form of raising awareness that is super, super unique. Like literally
puts you in a vulnerable
handling it
spot.
through
Yeah.
humor. And so there it is. What does it entail then? Do you have to give a speech? Do you have to get all dressed up
Oh,
and
I'm
go to
gonna
a
give
banquet?
a speech. I'll give a speech for sure. I'll keep it short and sweet. But yeah, it's cocktail attire, so I'll have a nice little suit on, and I'll look
Fun.
nice and clean. And yeah, I'll give a little speech. Shout out all the loved ones that'll be there with me, and yeah, it'll just be lovely. And they'll have food, cocktails, all that stuff.
I don't mean to pry, but you did mention you're engaged.
I
Did
am.
you get engaged before or after your diagnosis, and when is the wedding?
Before,
Okay.
before everything, and thank God, Ashley, thank God for her, because that was like my rock in all of this, keeping things. Or I am a mess when it comes to organization. So many
Little
appointments and
details,
things that you
yeah.
need to keep track of. She had that so covered for me, and I could not have gone through it as smoothly as I did without her. So bless up to her, and yeah, I
So
mean.
what does your journey look like moving forward? Do you have to go in for checks or?
Yeah, it's nothing too crazy. I think for the first 5 years, I believe it's about like once every 6 months that I'll go in
Okay.
for like a scan, and then it goes down to once a year, and I check in with the cardiologist and whatnot. But as time goes on, it gets lighter and
Less
lighter.
and less.
Yeah.
Lymphoma. Okay, I know there's different forms here. There's like Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's,
Tons of
gray zone. What was your
Mine was
condition?
sorry to cut you off. Mine was diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's, which out of all the lymphomas, it's one of the better
Most
ones.
treatable-
I guess.
most
Yeah,
treatable
it's
ones?
very
Yeah.
treatable. I believe for people who don't have underlying conditions and are otherwise healthy, the cure rate I think is like over 80%. So yeah, it was one of the better forms of lymphoma I looked out there, but there are so many different forms of lymphoma. It's a little overwhelming when you look at the list of all of them.
And what was the hardest part of chemo?
Probably, oh boy, you're fighting back tears a little bit. Just probably seeing my mom,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, seeing my mom have to deal with that. I think everyone else had a pretty positive mentality, and she did too, but she's very
you're her
emotional.
baby.
She's probably crying just at me talking about this right now. So yeah, it's, you know, no one wants to see their mom upset and
Right,
worried
right.
on a day-to-day basis. So that was probably one of the tougher things.
I
But-
was expecting you to list a physical symptom, but I can see that
Yeah.
more the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
Literally, like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel bad for you having to watch me go through this. Yeah.
That was the hardest part, was seeing my mama upset. And then I will say, ironically, it was after the lymphoma had left my body and I was in remission that I think everything kind of caught up with me mentally.
Oh.
And so I want to let anyone who's out there who's dealing with this know that if you did just beat it and you are feeling a little bit of regression, like mentally, it is normal, and it can take some time to come out of that, because your body's different. You know, I got up to like 200 pounds. I was way bigger than I was prior, and so all these physical changes and stuff, and especially when we're making videos every day and we're just taking it one day at a time, it does catch up with you, and it can take a little bit of a toll mentally. That was tough too, but I'm coming out of it, and again, keep that positive attitude.
That's really interesting. Your mind is playing catch up for all the stuff that you went. It's
Yeah,
that
I could
that
see you're
makes
kind
sense.
of in that fight or flight almost,
Yeah.
and then afterwards, do you recommend somebody get therapy maybe, or talk to someone, a professional?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you don't have anyone in your immediate family, especially who you can kind of talk to, or friends that you can talk to, therapy is great. I mean, talking to anyone. Just I highly recommend. Don't keep these things bottled up, and there are so many support groups and stuff online. I love talking to fellow patients because I mean they understand the most and can kind of give you the best advice.
One
have
organization
never heard that
I've
before.
been super involved with over the years called Immerman Angels. Have you heard of Immerman Angels? Johnny Immerman. He started a support network where basically, like, no matter what kind of cancer you are diagnosed with and what stage you're in, they hook you up. It's one-on-one cancer support. So they will find someone in your exact position, whether they're local or nearby or in a neighboring state, and then hook you up with that. So
That's marvelous.
Wow.
and there's a lot of advocacy groups too, but that does track that. Hey, getting hooked up with someone who's been in your situation you can talk to helps.
Yeah.
Down the road, are we going to see you on a stage? Are you
Yeah,
gonna
that
do
was
some stand
I was
up.
curious
Do you
about
think?
that too.
Stand-up is the only facet of comedy that I have not
Let's
tried yet, but
go.
you are going to see me on a stage. We're working on a little bit of a show right now that we want to tour city to city with. I do improv at IO Theater in Second City.
Nice.
Yeah, so I love the stage. The stage is where I started, and I continue to remain a thespian and try to be on the stage as much as I can.
Thespians,
All right.
yes.
If you
Super
haven't followed him
inspiring.
yet,
Thank you.
Anthony, Tony, and again, where can folks find you? I want to start following you online.
It's at TonyCorrado.com, but it's not Tony, it's clever. It's your toe, and then your knee, and then Corrado, Corrado. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, where we keep the hilarity rolling. It's a good time. It's a good time. Come check it out.
Follow
Tony
now.
Super super inspired. Dude,
Yeah,
thank you so
thanks.
much for being here in
Thank you
studio
for
with
having
us.
me.
Really
I appreciate
you sharing your
Thank you.
story.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Appreciate it. Nice to
All right,
meet you
as
too.
always, Caitlin and I are going to delve into some trending topics that are catching fire this morning on the Chicago subreddit. So stay with us. We'll be right back, everybody.
All things trending Chicago. So first up, screen-free refuge at risk. This is a book club article.
Yes, this is a like coffee
Club.
bar. Okay, so Block Club had this. I don't know if we have a screenshot of it, but this is a cozy. So I've never been to the spot, but it's in Lincoln Park.
Okay.
And basically, it is a coffee shop atmosphere, bookstore. And
Darling.
it is, yeah, it looks, look at that.
I want to take pictures in there. It looks like like from a TV show, you know?
What's the, Jenna, do we have the name of the establishment? It's not in my,
Refuge.
there it is, Kibitz Nest? Kibitz Nest is what it's called, there it is.
Oh.
And it is utterly charming on the inside, as you can see. And this is a rare spot in Chicago where they don't have Wi-Fi, but that is deliberate.
Okay.
To not have Wi-Fi, and they actively discourage folks from using their laptops and phones inside. Now that said, it's not like they're banned. It's not like you're going to get kicked out for busting it out. But the whole model is go in there, unplug, pick up a book, bring a book, read a newspaper, read a magazine, but it's like digital-free zone. And the Block Club article says basically this owner who launched this, I think in 2018, she's looking to sell, and so they're looking for a buyer, but she's not sure if it's going to survive. So Block Club is reporting basically that there's a push for there to be some kind of other buyer, and I read through some of the Reddit comments, Caitlin, and a lot of them are, I wish I had the money to keep this place alive, because
No
like
way.
this might be like the last refuge of a kind of dying breed of public establishment.
Bookstore without Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds really cute. I like the idea. I like the look. I hope it can survive.
Yeah.
I mean, so she wants to sell it, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So, I don't know
Maybe
the
Mike
backstory.
Kaplan could buy it for us.
Mike Kaplan, yeah.
Mike Kaplan.
Big dollars Kaplan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Aw.
High roller Kaplan. Another cool thing that is trending in the Chicago subreddit this morning is we've been talking about the architectural boat tour.
Yes.
I've told Caitlin about my dream to be a docent one day.
Uh-huh.
But look, if you can't afford or don't have time for the tour, we're going to give it to you in the next 34 seconds. Watch
Whoa.
this. Wrigley Building? I don't know that
Is
building.
this from the boat?
Merchandise Mart?
Someone made this.
Mather Tower? And there's the Willis Tower.
She's
What's that
fancy.
one?
Wow.
That
Look
one's
at
on
that.
rack. I
That
can't
one is
remember.
insane.
Yeah, there's the Trump Tower.
I like the history, the background that you get when you actually take these tours
Exactly.
to
There's
explain
the St. Regis.
the
And
architecture.
that's the Jewelers Building there. And the last
Mark
one, I
Strell
believe,
lives there.
at the Corn Cobs.
Yeah.
So there you go. No need to go on the tour, but that
Go on
time
the
lapse,
tour.
everyone's like, oh, that's awesome, 34th Street. Now this one was my favorite of the morning, Caitlin.
Okay.
Spelling has been getting a lot of press this week
Of
with
course.
the Scripps National Spelling Bee. We reported that yesterday.
Yes.
The commonly misspelled words by state. We did congratulations.
Congratulations.
People can't spell that, but guess what? There are some misspelled street signs in Chicago. I've actually never noticed these, and I'm kind
Sheridan.
of I kind of notice this kind of thing. I don't know if it's because we have to copy edit stuff here in the world of journalism, but that's Sheridan Road.
Street.
This one here, yeah, 47th. So it should say ND
my
47. Oh wait, no,
goodness.
TH. There should be a TH there.
Yeah.
47th. And then this one is a really hard one to catch. North Granville Avenue. It doesn't seem like there's anything wrong, right?
Yeah.
But it shouldn't say N, it should be West.
That's one I would
It
never
should
catch.
have, I would never have caught that either.
Well.
So I thought that was a really cool post. Someone has a very keen eye. You don't oftentimes see misspelled like official city municipal road signs, do you?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. And I probably wouldn't notice that stuff either. I'd be the person who makes
You wouldn't have
the
noticed
mistake.
Sheridan Road.
Probably not. Because your eyes kind of play tricks, right?
Yeah.
You just read it different, even though it's not spelled correctly.
That reminds me of that. Do you ever see that sign in Jimmy John's?
No.
So you know how in Jimmy John's locations they have all that fun stuff
Yes.
on the walls? So one of them is this whole paragraph where it's exactly what you said, where every word is misspelled.
Uh-huh.
But the first and last letter of each word
Right.
is right.
Yeah.
And what your eyes do is they just like you said, they
middle doesn't matter.
adjust.
Yeah.
So you read all these misspelled words, but your brain knows what they're trying to say, and you read it like seamlessly. It's
Yeah.
kind of a wild thought experiment when you think about it.
Can I tell you what I did? Like how much I don't notice things? When I was super pregnant with Bodhi, I was in my nesting stage, and I had to put handles on my cabinets in my kitchen. When I tell you, every single one is not centered, Anthony. I messed up
The handles?
big time.
The handles?
The handles. It's a big, costly mistake. And I noticed it not until like months later. I mean, probably just a handful of months
Grady didn't
ago.
notice.
Grady definitely didn't notice. But I just noticed, and I'm like, what was I thinking?
I want a
They're
screenshot.
all off center.
I
I've got pictures.
want
I'm trying to
photo
fix
evidence
it
of
right
this.
now.
That would drive me absolutely nuts.
You have no idea.
I mean, I'm not saying that in a judgmental way at
You wanna
all.
know
You
what
were
I did,
pregnant.
though?
You were 9 months pregnant, and you did, but just aesthetically. Anyway,
You
go
measure
ahead.
twice, drill once, is what I heard afterwards. But I think what happened was the drawers were all kind of different sizes.
You
so I was
drilled
measuring,
twice, then measured once. No, go ahead.
No, yeah, right. I measured off the side, and so the bigger drawers, all of them are kind of off. And one of them is the garbage pull, so it's like off center, big time, and it's like the one that everybody sees.
Caitlin.
And then other ones, you guys. It was one where there is a drawer on top and pull-out cabinets below. Okay, so the cabinets come together in the middle of this drawer, but I still managed to get the drawer handle off center.
Caitlin Cody. Okay, I want photos of
I
that.
have them handy.
And you have
I
a
will show
full
you.
excuse. You have
Yeah.
anyone who is
Rushing the
third
program.
in the last trimester, you
Okay.
could do whatever you want.
Here's an example, and this
Oh, I
doesn't
wish
really,
we could see this up close. Okay, so those
So
are.
the handles on the left are too far to the right.
I see that.
Let me
I
show you
see
the
that.
other one that's really bad.
This is unfair to the viewer.
Can you bring it up to the screen?
I know.
Yeah, you could. Here, this one you'll be able to see, guys. This is what I was talking about. I'll
Here,
bring it
hold
up.
on. Oh, you got it. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Wait, which
You
screen
tethered
are we-
in.
Where are we
There.
going? Here.
Here we go.
I don't want to fall.
Put her on my camera, guys. Can we zoom that?
This is what you guys are all watching for right now. You can't even see
Can't
it.
see the handles. Can't see the handles.
Can't even see it. Well,
Caitlin, you have an excuse.
yeah, they're bad. But anyways, noticing details is not one of my.
Okay, hey, you know
strong
what?
suits.
I actually don't think that wasn't as bad for the viewer at home that couldn't see that. They're slightly, ever so slightly off center. And Caitlin, you have a full excuse.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, we want to thank you for joining us here for another edition, our Wednesday edition of Chicago Now. Caitlin and I will be right back here to
Let's go
celebrate
get some
Friday
coffee.
Eve.
I'm exhausted, you guys.
Yes, Caitlin needs caffeine to get ready for the noon show, and we will see you right back here mañana.